accessibility. And that's the main pinpoint right now of Web3 gaming, is how to make this game that, is right now talking to a niche kind of people that may be Web3 users.
Yeah.
And how to make that talking to Web2 users or to the masses.
Hey folks, Flo here with Blockchain North in Toronto at Futurist. I'm here with Hippolyte from Always Geeky or Voxys. Brief introduction.
Yeah, so I'm Hippolyte, the Economy and Monetization Director of Always Geeky Games, and we are a Web3 gaming company.
Okay, based in Montreal.
Yeah, based in Montreal.
Okay, awesome. Montreal, representing. Before we're talking about Voxys specifically and Always Geeky more broadly, gaming, I used to be a gamer in my younger days, but I'm not anymore. So, what's the intersection between gaming and Web3 in terms of its value? What's the synergy?
Yeah, so I would say the big distinction is, if you're a player and you're playing like League of Legends, Call of Duty, those kind of games, for me the big distinction is when you're playing a regular game, you exist as a gamer only within the game. And my feeling and what I realized in Web3 gaming, you can take your persona, you can take who you are and keep existing with that persona outside of the game. So, in Discords, on X, with PFPs, with NFT collections, with different web experiences. And that's really like, suddenly it expanded how you can exist as a player and with a, gaming identity on other things. Yeah.
Okay. That's really interesting. And so you guys have, Always Geeky is the company. Voxys or Voxys Tactics, I understand, is the game?
Voxys is the ecosystem that we've created.
Okay.
3 NFT collections, 1 game, multiple services on our website. And this is Voxys, the ecosystem. Always Geeky Games, the company. And Voxy Tactic, our PvP, free-to-play, turn-based RPG game.
Okay, and it's one game that you have right now, right?
Yeah, so we have one title, Voxy Tactic, and that we're releasing on mobile. Right now it's only on PC. Okay. And we're releasing the full mobile version this summer between July and September.
Okay.
And by the end of the year and mid-2026, we're going to release a second title called Voxy Quest. Yeah.
Okay, and I understand from talking to your team before that you've been having quite a lot of success in Brazil and, if I remember correctly, in Asia.
Yeah, Philippines. We have I would say we have 2 types of players. Okay. So we have our main players, that are on day-to-day basis, playing the game, our turn-based PvP game. And those ones tend to come more from Philippines and, Brazil. And then we have what we call managers that usually own a lot of assets and really more enjoy the web experience side of things. So, upgrading their gear, playing with the NFTs, owning the collection, managing it. And those ones are maybe more on the American side. So, those are really 2 different crowds that play our game.
Now, as someone who played video games in the, let's say, late 80s and into the 90s, mid-90s maybe, what game would you compare Voxys Tactics to?
So actually, in terms of gameplay, I would say Final Fantasy. It's like turn-based RPG. So, every battle takes, on average 10, 15 minutes. So you need to be within the battle for some time. So that's what I would compare us to. But in terms of visual, we're really, taking a modern take on a nostalgia vibe.
Okay.
So, all of our art style is voxelized. It's voxel type of art. So, there is this nostalgic type of vibe within our games that someone that have played in the 80s and 90s will definitely enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the vision of the company? Building games, I imagine, perhaps one of your founders or several of your founders were gamers themselves.
Yes.
That's pretty obvious. I would have been surprised because, of course, it's a niche. Yeah. It's a niche within a niche.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Web3 is a niche and gaming is even more of a niche, or the other way around. It works too. What are they trying to build, let's say, over the longer term that perhaps, isn't as obvious when you just see, what you're doing today?
Yeah, so as I said, a modern take on a nostalgic vibe. That's really what it is about. And that's really, the mission and the visions that we have.
Okay.
And for that, we really took the Voxys ecosystem. So it started with Voxy Tactic, our PvP turn-based RPG game. Then we had the NFT collections, the different services on our website. And there is those different features that are tied together with the NFT collection that you interact with. And we want to expand this ecosystem. So for that, We're releasing, Voxy Quest. We're releasing the mobile version of Voxy Tactic, and we're releasing additional titles to expand the experience of this full ecosystem.
Okay. Wow, that's really exciting. I mean, I guess, would you say that your market is like gamers like me, perhaps, who were gamers a long time ago? Is it more, Web3 folks who are, perhaps new to gaming? I mean, how would you define your audience, basically?
So we really started as a Web3 gaming company. So initially, it was really 2021, the Web3 crypto bros
Hardcore.
type of thing. Yeah, that was really the thing. And I would say that in the last years, we've broadening on a gaming company.
Okay.
So we're really taking two approach. We're multi-platforms. So our goal is really, to aim at players, Web2 players, something accessible, something that will allow Web2 players to come on our game, do not need a wallet, do not need to know what it is to be able to onboard on our game and to experience the game. And on the other side, we're also aiming at, pleasing the public within the Web3 ecosystem that really enjoyed the management of collections, how to upgrade their NFTs.
Almost a bit more professional?
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. We have players, that are gonna be there every day and every day in our
Make
marketplace. Money? Yeah, make money, absolutely. And we have players that are playing 14 hours a day or for real.
I'm sure.
So,
or at night.
At night. So the discussions are quite passionate in our Discords, that's for sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm not an expert in gaming, but my sense is that the gaming world has really exploded over the last, like I said, since the 90s. I mean, there are probably more gamers today in the world than ever before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're playing on multiple platforms.
Yes.
PC, of course, consoles are still a thing. Portable consoles, the phone. I've also seen a lot of simpler games on the phones that are still having a resurgence, and people love to play even Word with friends or whatever else it is, a little tennis match, but in fairly low quality, but more interactive, I guess. Can you tell us a little bit more about that market that gaming is and the opportunities for you guys as a business? Because ultimately, of course, you need to monetize. So how do you then, develop your business? You're on the economic side.
So I'm on the economic side.
Tell us about the economies.
Yeah, I would say on the business side, really what was the that I saw when I joined is that we didn't have any live ops.
Okay.
So what is live ops is when you have a game as a service. That's something that really evolved. In the 80s, 90s, you would buy a game and just play this game, and once it was purchased, that was it. Now, all mobile games and console games have updates. Every 2 weeks they're gonna have updates. They're gonna release new content. Is it April? Is it summer? You're gonna have summer type of content. You're gonna have April. So that's
more work for you too, though.
That's absolutely more work, but that's also more revenue. That's how we monetize.
I guess it lengthens the life cycle of one game.
Yes, exactly. That's how
It's almost like a Tesla. You buy a car and you can update the software.
Exactly. That's how World of Warcraft have 15 or 20 years of time span, or League of Legends, because and that's our case. Every 2 weeks we have a new update. Every month we have new leaderboards. Every month we have new NFTs that get added to the collection. So the player keeps playing and they can win new type of element every month, and that's how we keep our game really active. And then on top of that, as I said, releasing on mobile, releasing to expand the public, and then releasing additional titles that's gonna reuse those collections to expand as the owner of NFTs and as a user what you can do within our ecosystem. And that's about it.
Speaking of your ecosystem, what are opportunities for non-gamers with an ecosystem like yours or in Web3 gaming in general? I'm thinking creators, I'm thinking, I don't know, what opportunities exist for people to engage with Web3 gaming?
Yeah, so I would say that Web3 gaming have this advantage that you don't have to be a gamer to take part of it. You can interact with our marketplace, for example, to buy NFTs. And once you have those NFTs, you can build the collections. You can upgrade those NFTs using our Forge. So the Forge is one of our services. Okay. And overall in Web3 gaming, I think that what most companies try to do is they try to have line of services that allows people to not being players, but to still interact with ecosystems. Yeah.
A lot of the conversations that I've had here, including a panel I moderated earlier, what about a pizza? It was about adoption, and it was about how, yes, we know here in this community the great value that crypto offers, notwithstanding a lot of course, kind of scams and or rug pulls or just projects with no utility. But if you focus on those that have utility, we know that, wow, this is the future. It's going to be so great and empower people and with their data and with their money even. And but at the same time, we are here at a crypto conference. If you step out even in downtown Toronto and ask 10 people about crypto, probably one will know a lot about it, and two will know a tiny bit about it, and then the rest will know nothing about it. Or even think it's garbage. You know? And so I'm thinking that also gaming is also a niche. So like I said earlier, you're like a niche in a niche. How do you see the future growth? How are you going to convince basically this niche in a niche, you know, how are you going to sell it, basically?
So what you're talking about is accessibility. And that's the main pinpoint right now of Web3 gaming, is how to make this game that, you know, is right now talking to a niche kind of people that may be Web3 users. And how to make that talking to Web2 users or to the masses. And for that, it's really accessibility. So there is two things that we are building right now. Then one that is, I would say, in beta because it's already usable but it's not polished, which is custodial wallets. So that allow you as a user to come within our ecosystem and to not requiring a wallet to still be able to interact with our ecosystem. So this wallet will be created, but you're not the one that initiated this creation. So that's the first step. The second step that we are working on to implement is called social logins. So, you know, when you play mobile games, you can, you know, register with Google or Apple or Facebook.
And I'm always quite hesitant to do that.
Yeah, but you don't need, when you do that, you're basically using things that you already have and that you do not require to creating an account within the game. So yeah, those are basically accessibility features that we're, you know, working on to release when we release the game between the mobile version of the game, the full release mobile version of the game between July and September.
As I mentioned, we share where we live and we also share where we come from. So we're both French and we both live in Montreal. From what I know, again, not being an expert in gaming, France is a pretty big producer of games globally. I would say probably what, top 3, top 5?
Probably,
you know, nations.
Big,
so US, Japan, and then somewhere in the mix, I guess France would be there. And Montreal is also known as a hub for creativity in general, arts and cultures. Ubisoft, of course, famously. I don't know if they're still there, actually.
Yes.
They're still there. Okay, they're still there. Good.
4,000 employees, I think, in at Ubisoft.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's a really big studio.
What is it about France and Montreal, which of course shares the French language, that makes it such a, I guess, fertile ground for Web3 gaming companies?
So I think if you ask me, I don't know for all Canada, but I know that Quebec it's mostly tax credits. You know that that have motivated a lot of international studios to join Montreal years ago now. So that would be for Montreal, and you know since then, once you build an ecosystem, it sort of keeps on growing with itself. You know, it's like Hollywood for the cinema. It's like, you know, there is places in the world.
Fashion in Paris.
Yeah, fashion in Paris, for example. I think for the French, and being French, we have a really, in France, there is a really strength into creativity and dedication. French people are like super dedicated when they start to something. When they start building on a product, they're gonna be dedicated to deliver it. Yeah, so that would be my
It's a form of pride as well.
Absolutely,
I suppose, as well. 2 last questions, and we're going to keep them even a bit shorter. What's next for Voxys?
Yeah, so 4 things.
4
things. The first one is the mobile release, the full mobile release between July and September.
Okay, which means on all platforms.
Exactly.
All mobile platforms.
Yeah, all mobile platforms. We're already on PC, and all mobile platforms are to come between July and September.
Okay.
First thing. The second one is what I was talking earlier, is accessibility. So accessibility, custodial wallets, and social logins are things that I'm super excited because once that's there, you know, people can join our game and without asking themselves questions about, do I have to do that? Do I have to create a wallet? So suddenly the door of access for games is really easy.
Okay.
The third one is Voxy Quest that I was talking about. So it's end of the year, mid-2026. And this one will really talk to the Web3, you know, user, the OGs that enjoy the NFT collections, that want more experience on the website. That's really where we're aiming Voxy Quest, is how you can use your NFTs and make, you know, send your characters on questing. And the day later you come back and you see, okay, what's the results of this quest? So that's what we're aiming. Super exciting. And the last one.
Do you remember the fourth one?
I forget the first one, but yeah. Oh yes, I know now. This is our game is a PvP turn-based RPG game.
Okay.
And
what does that mean, by the way?
So
for those like me,
turn-based is if we're two players, one play and then the other one.
Oh,
play.
I see.
It's not like at the same time. It's really exactly. So that's the turn-based part. PvP is 1 versus 1.
Okay.
So. And what our players are super excited about is that we're working on the PvE experience, which is one player against monsters, or what we call PvE is for environment.
Okay.
And they're super excited about that. They ask us about that for like months. So, our programmers are right now working on the PvE experience side of things. So, someone can join the game and do not have to play against someone else to still enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
So that's really four major milestones that I was talking about. Yeah.
Fantastic. Final question: what is your surest prediction, your highest conviction about Web3 gaming in the next 2 years? What is going to happen? What transformation are we going to witness? You're so close to it. You're into it. What are you so sure of?
So. There was one project which called Off the Grid that I think really paved the way to how be a AAA game that is a Web3 game that achieve a success. So for me, what I see from the future is that we're gonna have more products that are more games that are able to go on a mainstream market. While being Web3 games. Okay. Because I really think that, as I was saying, games right now are limiting you, that you may play this game for years, you can't exist as a player of that game outside of it. Okay. And for me, that's really the next step that we're going to see. Yeah.
Fascinating. Thank you so much, Hippolyte.
With pleasure.
Honestly, it was a really nice conversation.